Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about what is front end in IT technologies. And I hope you already know that there are many places people are looking for full stack engineers. In the part of full stack, some companies are also specifically looking for front end engineers. That is where I would like to explain what is front end development in the full stack area. So what are the technologies which are really required for anyone to become a front-end developer, so that what is the job opportunities and what will be the pay scale. This all I am going to discuss in this particular video. And my name is Murli. I am working as a solution architect having 17 plus years of experience. I started my career as a web developer in the year 2007. Then later on I also moved into senior software engineer, then tech lead, then again junior architect, then senior architect, and parallelly, I also got an opportunity to work as a software architect in many other software development, projects, and freelancing also I did a lot of projects. This is my small introduction, and if you all can see this particular, screen, what is front end, which can also be called as UI developer, and we can also call it as a HTML and CSS and JavaScript developer, and even user interface. The moment when user opens any application and he cannot directly interact with the database or maybe server, the interface what users can see, even you all can see that if you open Amazon or if you open Instagram, if you open Swiggy, or if you guys are planning to book a ticket, book my show, whatever the applications, in that the UI, the interface is gonna create by front-end engineers. Okay, my advice for all of you guys, watch this video till the last so that you will be able to understand what are the skills which are going to cover and what kind of jobs that are available in the market and how long that you can sustain in that particular field. That is also very, very important point. For example, there are few courses, if you learn today, maybe after 3 years, after 5 years, there will be no much scope for them. But when it comes to this front end, yes, of course, if once you complete this training, next 15 to 20 years at least you can survive in IT. That's where this video is all about. Next, if you all can see here, this is very important architecture. This is mandatory for a software engineer to understand. Now, what is this architecture is all about? What is this 3-tier architecture? Guys, listen carefully. This 3-tier architecture is helping end users to access any application by sitting at their, comfortable place, by using comfortable device. And if you all can see, in the beginning of 1990s or maybe 2000 or 2010, majority of the people accessing web applications using desktops. Later on, laptops came into the picture. But now, the young generation, you all are lucky. The reason is Android operating system, it changed the entire world. Now, owning a smartphone in a common man is easy. That's where most of the people accessing web and mobile applications using mobile gadgets. That is where interface is very, very important for every application. Quite common architecture which I am planning to discuss in this particular slide, 3-tier. So guys, in this 3-tier, if you all look into this is, you see that client, to whom we will consider as a client. The one who is accessing an application, he is considered as a client. He can also be called as a user. Now you see that this can be a desktop. Either the client 1 is using desktop to access the application. Maybe client 2 can also use a laptop to access an application. Maybe client 3, which can also called as user 3, can use mobile phone. Just an example I'm just giving. Why? Because all the available gadgets are there in the market. So you can't even predict whether the users are going to access desktop, whether they are using laptop or they are using mobile, and even some people are using tablets as well. And recently, if you all can see that we also have a smart TVs. and right from 32 inches to even the bigger TVs, more than 100 plus inches of TVs is also available. And you can't even predict whether users are using any gadget. Any user can use any gadgets. But now you see that if the gadget is small or bigger, interface should be damn good. If it is not good, then users closes your application. That's why as per the Google Trends, guys, listen carefully. If the website loading lesser than 3 seconds, this is very, very important. If the website is loading lesser than 3 seconds, yes, of course, you can attract the users. You can retain the users. In case, for any reasons, if your UI is not good, or if your backend is not optimized, or if the database is too heavy, I am sure if the website takes greater than 3 seconds, I am sure that application, nobody is going to watch that applications. Because as an architecture, I am telling you, we have to apply. Yes, everyone knows HTML, everyone knows some technologies, but very few people are going to understand how best that we can optimize in order to provide a good response for an users. That is called optimization. So that's where when you are learning any technology, learn up to optimization level, not in a beginner level. So stay tuned. I'll explain what are the technologies, how you would like to become a UI developer or front-end developer or HTML developer, something XYZ. Okay. Now in this tier, see, first focus majorly only on this particular area, this area. I am asking you people to focus on only presentation layer. Now you see that this can also be called as client layer. Now yes, of course, if you want to become a full stack engineer, yes, I will try to release a different video for full stack, but here we'll focus on only this layer. Guys, listen, it is a very important calculation which I am going to explain. See, if you are considering 100%, in the 100% development, you also can see here nowadays mobile front-end approach is there, mobile approach. Earlier we used to target desktop users, now the development trend also changed to mobile users we have to target first. In such cases, in the 100% of code, guys, 60% of the code I can say that we are writing in front-end, either HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Angular, Vue.js, whatever it is, 60% of the code that we are using in front end, plus we are writing 20 or 25% of code that we are writing in back end, plus remaining rest 15% of the code, and an approximate I am talking about, that is where 100% comes into the picture. Now it is a question for everyone. No matter whether you want to become a full stack or UI, now you see that since the majority of the code that we are writing in front end, that is where the work, the users, developers are really required for a companies. Even see, now I can say that my friends and me, when we started writing a code, we started writing Python, Java, .NET code in the beginning of our career. Yes, in MCA, the second year when I do a small simulation project, I completed by using .NET. And in the final year, I completed Java project. After that, I went for an apprenticeship. There I have completed, PHP, that is open source, PHP, Perl and Python. These 3 programs that I have used to build 3 varieties of projects. That's where I got an opportunity. I don't know. See, I joined here in Bangalore. That is where I got an opportunity to learn multiple technologies. I don't think so everyone will get an opportunity to work in multiple technologies like that. I should be thankful to my college wherein they gave me an opportunity to learn all this. That is where today, yes, if you ask me any technology I can easily deliver. The reason is my core is so strong. That is where I would like you people to become a strong software developer wherein you need not to worry about your future. Why? Because if you are skilled enough, the companies will never ever terminate. If you are not skilled enough, companies will never ever encourage you to stay there. That's what if you want to earn, first learn the skills. LEARN. If you learn, if you remove L, then the next is earning only. That's why focus on learning in the beginning of your career. So next, if you all can see here, this, in order to build a beautiful UI, you need not to worry about this application layer at this stage. You need not to worry about this database server at this stage. These two will try to park it for a while. So focus only on this UI. So to build this particular UI, now it is very, very important what technologies that you guys have to learn. Let me talk about those technologies here. That's where the key technologies in front-end development, guys, and in the year 2010, 2011, 2012, when we started building an applications, HTML, CSS, JavaScript is only 20% of the code that we are writing in the early 2010, 11 and 12. 12 is the year which is completely changed. How can I say? Because Android has, got more popularity. Yes, 2010 Android was there in the market, but 2012 the smartphones, majority of the companies started building the smartphones by using Android, and the phone price is also affordable for the users. That's where user interface, HTML, CSS, JavaScript also boom like anything. Then I also started learning HTML5. I also started learning ES6, and I learned Mustache, Handlebar. These guys are old JavaScript libraries for building a front-end applications. But yes, there are a lot of drawbacks are there with older libraries and plugins. Now React.js, these all technologies have changed a lot. Now let me talk about the primary. See, even though when you are learning, you have to divide into three. One is core technologies which are mandatory. Second thing is intermediate technologies which are optional, and there is another one called advanced, which is also mandatory. Intermediate technologies you can ignore, but advanced technologies you can't ignore. The reason is, if you are planning to build an application, ready-made frameworks are really important. That's where advanced technologies are inbuilt with all the features, so that you can build an application as quickly as possible without putting much efforts. First, let me talk about what is core technologies to become a front-end developer. That's where there are three technologies right from beginning, if you ask me. So one is, you see that HTML. Guys, HTML, if most of the people are aware of HTML, and it is quite easier for anyone to learn, where H stands for hyper, text, markup, language. We see, don't learn abbreviations, but HTML has lot of benefits now. HTML5 has a features like web storage. We can store the small data of a small applications in the browser database itself. And HTML also has a geolocation. Today, we can track anyone by, in case if the user is keep moving here and there, by using navigator APIs, we can track a user. That's where today how Google Maps is working, how Swiggy is targeting a user, how every Amazon or Flipkart, how they are delivering all the product to your doorstep. That's where geolocation API, which is also part of HTML. And drag and drop feature is there, and web workers, and even web cache. There are a lot of features are there. HTML, don't ever try to just think that HTML is all about paragraph tag, list tag, anchor tag. No, HTML has a lot of benefits. That's why every language, please try to learn in depth. Don't learn only fundamentals. Okay. Now HTML is helping for us to structure. This is very, very important, which is helping us to structure a page. What do you mean by structure? Now you see that my structure is looking so great. That's where even if you ask me to work 10 hours, 15 hours or 20 hours, my structure is so strong I can even work. If the structure is weak, is that possible for us to work? Similarly, if the web page structure is weak, I am sure it is one of the drawback. That's where HTML is very important, because that is the initial version of a web page structure. And for that, you have to have a solid knowledge on layout. Definitely, we'll try to give a best knowledge on those kind of sessions. HTML is initial version of a web page creation. Next, CSS. What is the use of CSS? Cascading style sheet is majorly for styling the HTML page, which is structured. Style, makeup, markup, style guide. Why? Because, see guys, it is very important. Even if I am not looking, at least, yes, of course, I am not so handsome. That is different story. But if I am not looking at least presentable, nobody is going to care. That is where presentation is very important. That's where if your web page has to be presented to attract the users, that's where CSS plays a very critical role. And even if you have a knowledge on HTML and CSS, go back to Naukri or go back to Upwork or go to Medium or go to 5R, still you have an option to get a job. So, but you have to have some techniques how to apply into your job portals. That is where our team is going to help you. Don't worry about it. Next, CSS also has a frameworks. I'll try to talk about those advanced frameworks in the upcoming slides, and I'll also explain CSS preprocessors as well. Next, you also can see that HTML and CSS can allow you to create a beautiful pages and a beautiful design. But now interactions, this is very, very, very important. What do you mean by interactions? If the page looks beautiful, if nobody is watching that particular, I mean to say if user clicks on anything, if the site is not responsive, if the application is not working as expected, then there is no point of building a beautiful application. That's where JavaScript leader is coming to the picture. Guys, JavaScript, even you can go back and try to search in internet, what top 10 scripting languages in 2024, you please try to search in Google. You will get to know JavaScript is in top. Definitely I can say why, because from 2012 to till today, JavaScript is growing like anything, Even my packages also increased up to 180% because of JavaScript. Because JavaScript is helping web applications or mobile applications or any applications to make more interactive with the user. That is very important. That's where you have to give an importance to these three. For that reason, I am saying these three technologies are core technologies. Yes, of course, if you learn these three with a real-time and live project knowledge, you can easily get a job anywhere in the world. Not only in India, but also across globe, there is a huge demand for these developers. Next, you see that front-end frameworks and libraries. Now it is a question for everyone. See, why should we learn frameworks? Why should we learn libraries? There are 40 to 50% of the work which is already incorporated in a frameworks and libraries. We can deep dive into that. Now see, out of all this, React plays a very important role. Why? Because by using React.js, you can even improve the performance. As I already explained in the beginning of our slide, if the web page is not loaded within 3 seconds, retaining a customer is very tough. Now, apart from React, if you guys are using any other frameworks, maybe loading speed you can't improve. If you want to increase the loading speed to attract the users, to retain the users, this framework, this library, some people used to say that this is a framework, some people used to say that there is a library, and there is a confusion. But I'm clearly explaining you out of my experience, there is a library, which is not a framework. And even React team itself has declared that it is a library, but majority of the people, they polluted the use of this React. They used to say that framework. Guys, there is a huge difference between a React library and a framework. That I will try to do in different session. Wait, I'll give you the exact difference of what is libraries and what is framework. But this is, React is a library which is solving view problems, loading problems of a front-end application in the three-tier architecture. Okay. Next, Bootstrap. See, Bootstrap, which is solving what sort of problem Bootstrap is solving? If you ask me, Bootstrap is solving the problems of mobile responsiveness, responsive web design. And if you don't know what is responsive design, stay tuned. I'll try to explain. I'll try to take a responsive web design sessions separately in the upcoming sessions. But I'll give you brief about what is responsive. I'll tell you, even as a user, every time I can carry my mobile. Sometimes I can carry laptop, and very few cases I can carry my TV. Think about it. Maybe if I'm there in home and I have a 63 inches TV, I can even access anything using that 63 inches. Now it is a question for everyone. Are you comfortable with a small mobile or a bigger screens while watching any TV or content? Ultimately bigger screens. Watching movie in 63 inches is comfortable, or if you go to the IMAX or maybe bigger screens, is comfortable. Ultimately, bigger screens are comfortable. As long as if the screen is bigger, you will also get an interest. But do you think that the big screens are, I mean to say, screens are portable? Is it easy for you to carry a TV every time? No, right? But you can carry a mobile every time. That's where you can't even expect whether the users are using small devices or a bigger devices or medium devices, your application should respond for all the available gadgets. That is called responsive web design. So to build that, in the olden days we used to write separate code base for different devices. Now Bootstrap came into the picture. By using Bootstrap, you can target any kind of an audience. Yes, there is a grid system in Bootstrap, and if the device is lesser than 576 pixels, we can consider it as extra small devices. If the device resolutions are 576 to 768, we can call it as small, and 768 to 968, I think 972 I can say, and that we can call it as a medium devices, and from 962 to 1024, and we can consider that as a large, 1024 to 1200, 1200 to 1400, 1400 to 1000, maybe extra. Like that, there is a different kind of breakpoints are there in Bootstrap as well. For each breakpoint, there is a ready-made CSS. You need not to write even CSS code at all. If you are not using Bootstrap, think about it. To design a page, if it takes 1 day, by using Bootstrap, you can build a page in 1 hour. Now think about it, how much of efforts Bootstrap is reducing. Similarly, every library and framework has a lot of benefits, and we have to get into that particular concepts in detail. Fine. Now Vue.js, this is also an alternative of not alternative. I can say that this is another framework for building front-end applications. Angular is also there. That is another framework for building a front-end application. React.js is another library for building a front-end application. Each one of them has different benefits. And if you want to know more about what is difference between a React, Vue.js and Angular, comment. Definitely I'll give you that particular link as well. Thank you. Next, you see the tools. These tools are very, very powerful. Why? Guys, as you already know that if you wanted to open a screw, you need a screwdriver. See, with a spanner, you can't even open a screw, right? Right tool for a right developers. It is very important. Now, if you wanted to become a UI developer, what is the tools which are mandatory? Yes, as many as tools if you have, your life is easier and you can even build application as quickly as possible. Now you see that VS Code, Visual Studio Code, it's a lightweight IDE. I hope you guys have already understood what is editor, what is IDE, Integrated Development Environment, which is very important. Visual Studio Code is very powerful tool which has a lot of intelligence. Of course, now browser developer tools are very important in case if any errors are there. For debugging, browser developer tools made easy. Debugging, you already know that no one is going to build an application without any errors. If errors occurs, how do you debug? That's where browser developer tools are playing very important role. Next, version control system. Guys, this is mandatory for every programmer. I hope you understand what is version control system. Git is one of the powerful version control system wherein a group of people are working. We have to maintain the revision history of each one of the developer. Why? Now let me give you one example. So in the year 2011, when I used to work on one application, we don't have a Git in our company and we started making directly changes in the server. One day what happens, one of our teammates, he made some changes in the server directly. Because of those changes, now the entire application crashes. In order to retrieve, we faced a lot of problems because server, we did not even maintain any kind of a backup. That's where Git, these version control systems, each and every commit, there is a revision history. Now if one recent commit fails, if it is disturbing an application, at least there is an option for you to revert it back to the previous one so that you are going to lose only recent commit. But you can still point your project back to the previous history. So that's where it has a lot of relaxation for web developers by using Git. It is a mandatory now. So there is a lot of techniques are there in Git. If conflicts comes, any errors comes, any conflicts comes, how are we going to stash? How are we going to create a branching strategies? What is pull request? Everything that I'm going to explain in detail. Don't worry about it. Okay. These are the mandatory tools. I think, you guys are quite good enough to understand. and in that what is the use of UI development, what sort of technologies that you're supposed to learn, what are the frameworks and libraries that you have to learn, and what are the mandatory tools. Yes, this is quite good enough. In case if you wanted to know more about the job trends, yes, of course, guys, you go and try to search in Naukri by searching HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React.js, and you see a bunch of thousands of jobs are there. But you can also ask me a question, sir, if there are thousands of jobs, why we are not able to get a job? Because we are not technically strong. How can we prove ourselves in technically strong? Not simply by just, attending trainings. Now that is where how to learn. This slide is going to give how to get started front-end development. And majority of the people nowadays, when I used to interact with them, they used to say that, sir, I know this technology, I know that technology. When we are asking, have you done any project? Can you please show me your project on live? No answers. That's where, please don't ever try to learn like that. Guys, even if you do one project which is live, which is there in the server, please try to, show that to the recruiters or to the interviewers. They will definitely give an opportunity for you if the project is impressive. If the project is very simple, no one cares about it. Now it is a question, you see that learn HTML, CSS and JavaScript first. This is very important. Core is always important. Learn, and if you want a project, ask me. I'll give you a number of projects. If you want a guidance, yes, we will give you guidance free. And we will also help you how to deploy that project in a server. And for server, you need not to pay single rupee. There are a lot of servers which are free of cost, and you can even host your application in a server, so that is a proof for you to explain that yes, I know HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Next, you have to build a project. And for that project, take at least any problem which is there in your surroundings, start solving that particular problems, and by using HTML and CSS, JavaScript. Okay, and yes, of course, by using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you can create only static applications. For building a dynamic applications, ultimately you need a backend. So that's where full stack engineers are again in demand. Next, join a communities. There are a lot of communities are there, and even we AchieversIT also community. You can join with our team so that we can give you free internships. We can also help you to understand how live projects works. This is everything we can guide you as a free of cost. You can even interact with our team. Next, you see that, this is only for fundamentals. For maybe in case if you wanted to build React based applications, ultimately you have to take an expert guidance like us, and we are ready to give you a guidance how to become a front-end developer by using all these technologies. I hope this video is giving more information to you, and you understand there are many people have a confusions, and I hope for all of them this video will give you a lot more information, I guess. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and like our video and subscribe for more information. If you have any questions, comment. Definitely we will try to answer for all your comments, and thank you so much for watching this video.